221. Hashtag wake up at the Manny. Hashtag VerseTV 221A.
This year, my mom got me the perfect bag for back to school.
These colorful binders help me stay organized.
These headphones are just what I need for studying.
These new sneakers are just what I needed for the new year.
This jacket is a real must-have.
My parents got me the skateboard I wanted. It's pretty cool.
These scissors really come in handy in art class. These colored pencils, too.
These new socks, they can be a real lifesaver.
I finally got my own phone to stay in touch with my mom.
That was something else. And it's okay. So my initial reaction is I love Manny from TikTok. Like he makes some really funny videos. And that's what sort of confused me with this because I was watching it and I'm like, well, is the punchline coming up? And then I'm like, well, wait a minute, looks like some really horrible stuff is going on. And then I realized, oh, wait a minute. No, because it's titled, this was a PSA. And I realized, no, that's not one of his standard jokes. And what really did it for me, and this is my connection, at the end when I saw the girl talk, it still gets me. It still gets me. It still gets me. When I saw the girl talk about how she finally got a phone to stay in touch with her mom. And I think about my mom and stuff. And as you saw, the message that she sent to her mom was, I love you, Mom. And then she hears somebody walking in behind while she's like hiding from like a gunman or something like that because we love our effing guns so effing much. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And what we are putting these kids through is insane. And when I saw her talk about how she loves her mom, I rewatched the video and I'm like, oh, this is some awful stuff. And I realized the kid was like, these new socks that my parents got me really came in handy. And the child was using the sock to bandage up one of the classmates who was bleeding from a gunshot. This upsets me so much. And I'll say this past weekend, I was at my church and they mentioned that the church was having another backpack drive to get backpacks for the kids in schools, donate backpacks. And it just, nothing struck me as strange with that because even I've gotten backpacks for the kids before. And I was just like, okay. And then she mentioned, she's like, oh yeah, by the way, for high school students, and this is a requirement of the particular county, she's like, for high school students, they have to have clear backpacks. And I was like, what? And then somebody else in the congregation spoke up and she was like, yeah, actually the requirement from the county is that people and all students use clear backpacks. And I'm going to go a little bit farther explaining this, if you don't mind, Kevin, if you don't mind. And how I became I don't want to say irate, but I was just so bothered by it because it's like that is such a reactive thing. Like, can it help? Possibly. But it's definitely not proactive. But the reason we can't do proactive stuff is because we need some federal laws coming down about those guns. And I question, is it like America is just so gun loving, or is it that it chicken or the egg? America's love of guns, or the narrative that Americans love their guns, followed by the subsequent people who feel the need to keep up with the guns and Jones, keep up with the Joneses' guns. And it's like, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous what we're putting kids through. Yeah, and a crush of mine from a news anchor for the BBC. I don't know why I keep looking over at the mic like the camera is there. Anyway, from the BBC, beautiful man. He, I follow his Twitter because he's so beautiful. And he did a post on Twitter talking about how he was visiting Florida with some friends. Still loud. Anyway, how he was visiting Florida with some friends and they heard gunshots. And he visiting Florida, visiting Miami Beach. And he's like, they heard gunshots. And he sort of, not playfully, but like ironically, I guess, or something, said, oh my gosh, I was so afraid that my friends and I were about to be a part of, become another, one of those very common American statistics of gun violence. Oh, it's so scary here. And I was so